Yeah, but Tony Robbins is very, very different. Tony Robbins, obviously, yeah, he's a self-help guy. You know, he wrote all those books on sales and making yourself great, you know, being a better NLP, all that stuff. But he also, like, going to a Tony Robbins event, you're going there for the experience. It's like going to the Super
How
Bowl.
old are you? How old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay. You know how old Tony is?
He's probably in his 60s, right?
He just celebrated 60th. You know when he started doing his first event?
No,
When he
what
was
did you do?
23, 24 years old, right? What's the point? Go talk to somebody his age. Tony used to put up events with 10, 20 people. Tony had to overcome that. It took him 2 decades. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It took
So
him
you're saying he started selling courses?
Oh yeah, Tony was selling. And by the way, this is coming from a guy that's attended his courses. I bought his books. I bought everything that he has. I bought his stuff from way back in the days. But he struggled with that because he was known back in the days as the infomercial guy. Middle of the night, you'd be sitting there watching TV, and he says, "Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Is your job not fulfilling your dreams? Have you made promises to your wife of taking her to that one destination in Italy or France, and you've not made it happen? It's time to, all this kind of messages." And it was infomercial. Oh my gosh, let me buy this $200 program. Let me buy this $200 program. So he went through that for a long time. But what Tony that gets credit for is Tony recreated himself multiple times. Some of these guys are going to get a lot of shots that's going to be taken at them. They're going to have to figure out a way to recreate themselves. Remember, Rogan was a Fear Factor guy. And prior to that, he was an actor. And prior to that, he was a karate guy. Okay. And he was a good looking guy that was coming up. Then all of a sudden he said, let me team up with Dana White. They worked out together. He started doing his kind. Still today, he considers himself a comedian. All the other stuff is secondary, right? So comedy, UFC, podcast, he's recreated himself. I don't know how many times. So the race, when people bring up names to me, the race of content is going to be who can recreate themselves the most times and stay relevant for decades. The reason why Ray Charles and Sting get the kind of credit and respect that they get, I believe they're the only two that have #1 hits in 4 different decades.
Really?
4 different decades. Think about how much music changes every decade. Imagine staying relevant for 4 different decades. It's a very difficult thing to do, to stay relevant 4 different decades. So a lot of these online guys, they're going to have to overcome these. You know who they are. All these videos that you do on these guys, that this guy does on them. Some of them are going to overcome it. Some of them are not going to overcome it. But they're going to have to overcome this phase of people like this going after them, saying how you make your money is courses.
Right. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what Tony Robbins would do if he was younger and starting out in this day and age, how he would do it.
I think he'd be 10 times bigger.
Do you think that, do you think that he baited his audience into thinking he was some like big successful guy when he first started? Like, look at me, I'm rich. When he first started doing those courses.
No, I think Tony's approach was, the story that makes Tony very vulnerable is when he was at his Venice apartment and his friend comes in, he's 38 pounds overweight. He's disappointed. He's hit rock bottom. I think he was working at Jim Rohn, and I don't know whether he was working in the nutritional company with Jim Rohn. And he came from a place of, look, I screwed up my life. Then I went and read books, and then I changed my life. And I'm sharing what worked with me to you. So that's still a very noble way of bringing the messaging. He's packaging it very well. So he's not coming from a place of, let me tell you how powerful I am. Those are the people that sometimes get a lot of people that come after them for the right reasons. Now, if they can handle it, they're going to be fine. If they cannot handle it, they may need to want to change their positions. For example, for Trump enjoys people going after him his entire life. That's his comfort zone. It's not for everybody. Some people get rattled. Some people don't like that. He loves it. Matter of fact, he will intentionally file a bankruptcy on a business just to get you to write about it. He is a very different kind of guy. But if somebody says, I want to be like Trump when I grow up, you can't, because you got to have that guy's DNA. If you don't have that guy's DNA, you can't be like him. You got to take a complete different play of a different person's playbook rather than his. It's not going to work for that personality. But if somebody online has Trump's personality, they're going to be all right.
It's amazing how many people you can get to follow you and to worship you if you project this wealthy persona. You know what I mean? If you could put a Ferrari in the background of your videos, You can get so many people to follow you.
Not forever though.
It's such a weird thing. It's really insane, like how effective that is for some people.
Yeah, it's not forever though. Think about it. Like, you know, like Kardashian, they would say, oh, she's famous because of that video, right? I've been probably even guilty of saying that. You know, she's famous because that one video she did with Brandy's brother, right?
The porno? The porn video, yeah. With
porn video that went out, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, who's this girl? And then she was friends with Paris Hilton and all this stuff, right? Okay, no problem. You look at Kim Kardashian today. How many times has she recreated herself? I mean, they're on the 20th season of Keeping Up with Kardashian. I've never watched an episode. Not one time have I watched Keeping Up with Kardashians. You know how many people in my office keep up with it? And you sit there and you say, at this point, Kim Kardashian at this point has reached saint status. You know what saint status is? Here's what saint status. It's not she's a saint. That's not what saint status is. Saint status is no matter what you say today, no one cares today. You can say whatever you want about Kim today. No one cares today. She's reached a tipping point. The only thing she can do is if she does something royally stupid, criminal, something, you know, completely out of line. But she's reached a level right now that she's got millions of haters and she's totally comfortable with it. She still looks good at 40. I don't know how old she is. I'm going to assume she's 38, 40. I don't know her exact age, but I'm going to assume she's going to be that age. Kim Kardashian, how old are you? Let's see here.
She's getting up there for sure.
She's 40 years old. We're 3 days apart. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. She's October 21st. So
you're 3 days apart in age?
I had no idea. We're
wow.
3 days apart. Well, I'm 78. She's 80. So we're 3 days. But look, you look at her. Good for you. She looks amazing. So now somebody could have said to her at 21 years old, your looks alone cannot get you everywhere for the rest of your life. She can now laugh and say, I'm 40 and I still look good and I'm still making my billions. And what do you got to say about that? She's like she wants to be in the level of Sophia Loren and, you know, Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor type of a level. She doesn't care if she gets married 8 times. She just wants to get to that kind of a level. So when you talk about the cars don't work long-term. They just don't work long-term. They work temporarily. They do not work long-term.